The Biden administration published its new student loan forgiveness proposal following an earlier Supreme Court rejection on their first round attempt. Our next guest says that the plan is poorly targeted and will make inflation worse. Joining us right now is former Council of Economic Advisors Chairman Jason Furman. He's an economics professor at Harvard's Kennedy School of Government. And Jason, we should probably point out you were in your position in a Democratic administration. So you are speaking out against what a Democratic administration is proposing to do right now. What are your problems with it?
Look, we have unsustainable debt. We have high mortgage rates. We have an economy that has not landed softly. This is a plan that we've only heard estimates for part of the cost of it. But when you take the plan as a whole, it's likely to be $250 to $750 billion. Is that a quantitatively huge contributor to the problems I cited? No. Is it moving in the wrong direction on all of them? Yes, it is. And we shouldn't be doing that right now.
I have seen arguments out there that say, hey, what are you talking about that this costs anybody any money? All it is we just say, poof, it goes away. Nobody has to pay this, and it doesn't result in anything.
Yeah, I mean, there's like all sorts of magic fairy dust, pixie dust arguments out there. They're not arguments that would get anyone a passing grade in my classroom. The goal of this is to raise consumption. In fact, I've seen analysis of proponents of it saying this will increase consumption. Well, consumption right now is really, really strong. You make it stronger, and that's what puts upward pressure on interest rates, upward pressure on inflation. And of course, this gets recorded as an increase in spending and ultimately a higher path for the debt.
There is a problem with the cost of college these days, and having students who get out with $100,000, $150,000, $250,000 in debt is a serious issue. How should we be addressing this?
Look, I think there's a serious issue there. If you look at where the defaults are, they tend to be people with actually lower amounts of debt, a couple $1,000s. They can have defaults that stay with them for their life. So you have the administration that already did an income-driven repayment program, people with low incomes that were struggling to pay back the debt. This is on top of that. So I think what you need to do is target the people who have been the most unlucky or gone to colleges that really ripped them off. This is 30 million people. This is very, very broad. It's not very targeted. That's what I see the issue is. And finally, I probably would rather have Congress weigh in on an issue this big.
You got, Jason, other issues maybe with some, I'm going to bring up this capital gains proposal, and I haven't talked to you. I don't know whether you think 44.6 is too high, but I have heard anecdotally that not everybody from President Obama's administration is pleased with some of the stuff that's happening now in the Biden administration. Is there any scenario where you would think that would be the highest rate since its creation in 1922, capital gains? Do you think that would hurt capital development or deployment at 44.6%? Is that a good number for you?
Look, I like the president's budget. We have a lot of problems in our fiscal situation. If you passed his budget in its entirety, we'd be on a path of less debt than the path we're on now. You have to make tough choices on taxes. Look, the best tax system, if we didn't have any needs in our country, would be to not collect taxes from anyone. Every way of collecting taxes has some downside or trade-off. But overall, I think they have a broadly responsible budget, and I'm quite enthusiastic about it. Sorry to disappoint you, Joe.
Jason, disappoints me greatly.
Jason, we were batting around the non-compete news this morning out of the FTC and the impact on labor, employment, and potentially wages longer term. Lena Khan saying this is going to create billions of dollars in new wages. Do you think that's the case?
Look, I like the idea of banning non-competes for many classes of workers. I wish they'd built some exceptions in. Higher paid workers are sophisticated enough to understand these agreements. There's a legitimate purpose for them. But I think this probably will improve bargaining power for lower wage workers. And I'm enthusiastic about that part of it. As opposed to the FTC's specific estimates, I don't know, because you do need to take into account, for example, that sometimes you actually have to compensate people more in exchange for a non-compete and work out those types of dynamics as well. But step in the right direction, maybe goes a bit, overshoots that right direction a bit.
Jason, you know, I've now quoted you a bunch of times on the air in the past week because you tweeted out, I think about a week or two ago now, that if in fact the Federal Reserve raises interest rates, I think you were suggesting in this calendar year, you thought it would be a function not of inflation going down, but actually of an employment problem in this country.
You mean cutting rates?
Cutting rates.
Oh, you said raising.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Cutting rates.
Okay.
And I thought that was a very sort of provocative view, and whether you think that actually will come true.
Yeah, look, I mean, you have the sort of monkey's paw wish situation here. There's all sorts of people wishing for a rate cut. If that wish gets delivered, it may get delivered because the employment situation deteriorated. I think a cut in December would be possible based on lower inflation. But before then, you've had a Fed that's been repeatedly burned by thinking inflation had come down, and it reasserts itself. I don't think you're going to be able to have 1, 2, or 3 months of low inflation that are reassuring after the 3 really high months we just had. So I don't think there's going to be enough time to build enough confidence that inflation has come down to justify lower rates. I'm not predicting a downturn in the economy, but the economy can turn on a dime. And if that happens, then I think the Fed could be there to help rescue it with lower rates.
Or if something breaks,
That's not
just the economy.
Yeah.
If something breaks in the economy beyond just